All right, clear visuals coming in from Shambhu border in Ambala, where protesters are being detained. Agitators now taken in to custody. They're being detained. And it appears that the farmers are willing to face this situation, because they've said very clearly that they are willing to die for the cause of farmers. The rights of farmers they will fight for, even if it means they have to face arrest or even if the police wants to arrest them or shoot them, they are willing to face it all. These are words of many of those farmers that India Today has spoken to. As we see here, many farmers singled out, detained by the cops. They're being taken into custody. This was expected. The Delhi police there, unsparing. In fact, Haryana police too, using same methods as the Delhi police, firing tear gas shells to ensure that they are dispersed. They're deterred from crossing the borders. But farmers seem to be also adamant. They're trying in every way possible through grasslands. Even if the border areas are blocked, they're trying through grasslands to run into areas where they can infiltrate. In fact, they're trying to escape the tear gas shells also that's been fired constantly. And interestingly, we see for the first time that drones are being used to drop those tear gas shells at specific target points. Even if the farmers are hiding in some places where they want to escape from the burns of those tear gas shells, the drones with cameras that's being monitored by the police are being used to move towards those target points where the farmers are hiding and fire those tear gas shells. In fact, the farmers' demands really this time too remains the same, more or less. That's what they demanded even in 2021-22, a minimum support price law. They want a legal guarantee for MSP, implementation of the Swaminathan Commission's recommendations. They want pensions for farmers and farm laborers. They want farm debt waiver, complete waiver of all their loans taken, withdrawal of police cases that were imposed in 2021-22 protest, and justice for victims of the Lakhimpur Kheri violence. Of course, they've also demanded reinstatement of the Land Acquisition Act 2013. Now, multiple demands, no answers as yet. We know that there was a discussion between the farmers' unions and the government late last night. It went on for about 5 hours. On a few points, they came in on consensus, but largely the MSP law, there was no consensus. The government said it's impossible to come up with a law with immediate effect. They've got to survey multiple states, the situation of farmers across the country. A committee will be set up, and then an MSP law could be mulled over. But right now, the farmers saying that this is basically a diversionary tactic by the centre. They don't trust the centre's committee that they claim to form. They don't trust the government itself. They say that they want the MSP law to be implemented with immediate effect. No committee, no survey, get going with implementing the law. This protest has been on since 2021. If you know, 2021 to 22, nearly a year the farmers protested along the border areas of Delhi. We know that nearly 750 people died during that agitation. There were similar demands made that time too. Many of them that were agreed upon. In fact, farmers agreed that they will wait for the MSP law to come about, but they say despite those promises, none of them have been fulfilled. So 2 years later, farmers have come back to the border areas with the same enthusiasm. It appears that they've come en masse, huge crowds there, with the same enthusiasm to fight until their rights are granted. And they seem prepared for the long haul. Many of those tractors doubling up as shelters. They're prepared with food, with clothes, and also prepared to face fire from the police. We heard some of those protesters saying, even if the cops want to fire at us, we're willing to take that. We're willing to die for the farmers' cause. That's how certain the farmers sound, and so are the police. The police also adamant they will not allow for farmers to venture into the national capital. They've been fully blocked off. Now that's resulted in normal life for common citizens being thrown out of gear. We know that people are struggling to make their way through border points. In fact, in Delhi itself, you're seeing severe traffic snarls. Images we showed you a little earlier. We're going to revisit that. Severe traffic snarls seen in the national capital, Delhi. Traffic pile-up, cars, thousands of them along the Delhi-Meerut border. Or that highway itself, Delhi-Meerut highway. Terrible traffic at this point. People are finding it really hard to move from one point to the other in the national capital. Within Delhi city limits too, it's a real nightmare. But here, and the reasons, of course, is clear. You see the protests happening along the border areas of Delhi. That's resulted in massive traffic snarls across the national capital and surrounding areas. So be prepared for something like this, at least a situation where traffic will be packed for the next few days. It all depends on whether talks between the farmers and the centre yield results. Last night, the talks did not end well. The stalemate continues. Farmers were unrelenting. They say they will not withdraw from their protests until an actual law comes about. They're not taking any verbal promises. They do not want a committee to be formed. They want direct action from the centre, and that is in the form of a law to be implemented with immediate effect.